Vishwat, hi, can you hear me?
Hey, hello.
Hi, how are you doing? Um,
Hi, Raghav. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear now. You've got the
Can
stage.
you
You are
see
good
me
to
as well?
go. I'm sorry?
Can you see me as well?
Oh, I can see you as well. Everything's
Perfect.
perfect. Everything's crisp. I've got your screenshot right in front of me. So just a quick round of introduction. Vishwat Shukla, we have with us today. He's the principal PM manager at Microsoft. He's been heading the product and strategic partnerships teams at Microsoft, and in his time, he's also worked with Zivami. He's pretty much led mostly around the lines of partnerships and platform management. And today, that's effectively what he's going to be talking to us about as well. So, Rashid, without further ado, over to you.
Thank you. I hope I'm audible and my screen is being shared as well. Really excited to actually be here with all of you. We're kicking off on time. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks to the SaaS Insider team, Raghav and team, for giving me the opportunity. Today, what I'm actually going to talk to you about is SaaS partnerships. But before I actually start doing that, a quick round of introduction from my side, going a bit deeper than what Raghav shared with you. So as you can see, I am currently working with Microsoft. I'm based out of Bangalore. I'm actually part of a product called Microsoft Teams. During the pandemic, most likely all of you would have actually heard about Teams and probably would have used Teams as well. I am a go-to-market PM on the Teams engineering team. I lead a team of PMs here as part of the team's product engineering group. And the team is actually called the platform ecosystem group, right? What it essentially means is my team is basically working with developers and partners in the eastern hemisphere of the world. So basically, cut the world in half, and everyone which is on the eastern hemisphere of the world, any strategic partner, be it SaaS application developer startups, be it established companies, be it SMBs, anyone who's looking to actually build productive enterprise SaaS experiences. And looking to actually integrate their products within Teams, which is our hub for collaboration and communication for our Microsoft 365 customers. My team will actually work with them on an end-to-end engagement to ensure that they build the best possible experience for the Microsoft Teams platform. We have an in-product app store within Teams with close to about 1,000 plus apps now, and that is where me and my team actually comes into picture, so that every experience that the end user uses for these SaaS apps within Teams is top notch. And that is basically why I think it is important for the next 20 minutes or so today to talk about this very cool, very differentiated aspect of a PM role called the partnerships PM, right? What is this whole deal about, doing product partnerships or like SaaS partnerships? Today, in the next 20 odd minutes, we will actually explore that, right? So with that, a quick intro from my side. Just want to actually flash what's the product that I'm actually working on. A quick recap: Microsoft Teams, as I said, is a hub for teamwork in M365. It is a product that actually brings together chat and group collaboration, your files and documents, structured communication through calling, meetings, live events, your entire communication infra, and most importantly, your SaaS applications and workflows in a single interface. So essentially, it's a product that basically brings your people, that is your coworkers, documents, which is your files, your communication infra, which is your calls, meets, audio call, video call, live events, webinars, all of that, and on top of that, your favorite apps, uh, workflows, data, content, everything together in a single product, right? The vision that we have for this product is literally, we see a world where actually people can start their day in Teams. You can live your day in Teams, and you can actually end your day in Teams, right? We are already seeing like early signs of people spending large parts of their day on this product and literally getting everything done in a single window experience. And that's where the power of Teams as a platform comes into picture, because that allows Teams to basically get customized for whatever use case an enterprise user or an end user, a productivity user wants to achieve out of this particular product, right? So With that in mind, let me actually move to a quick round of the agenda that we will actually cover today as part of as part of my talk. So today we'll actually quickly see what product partnerships, especially in the context of SaaS, mean. We will see some examples of product partnerships. Hopefully, you all would have actually heard about this. These are pretty famous examples of successful or well-known product partnerships in the world, both from India and outside India. So I try to kind of get a mix going. We will understand through my own example and through what I do and what my team does. I'll try and walk you through understanding the process of SaaS partnerships or product partnerships. We'll have a quick round of commentary on how do we measure success of product partnerships, and we'll then close with what are the best practices of striking and executing product partnerships. I think this is where my own personal experience of doing partnerships for the last couple of years actually comes out, and I'm like super happy to actually share that with you. And then finally, a peek into the product partnerships PM role. As I mentioned, it's a new kind of a role. It's not something which the industry has seen a lot of, and hence I do want to end the talk by actually giving you a sneak peek into what is a product partnerships PM role. Like, why is it something that you should probably consider if you ever come across product partnerships as a role in your career, right? So jumping straight into the first topic, which is product partnerships, right? So I have a quick quote here by Brandon, who's a well-known partnerships PM who's actually worked at Shopify, that products built internally are already tough to get right. Now imagine building products in partnership with other companies, right? If anybody who's basically trying to do product partnerships, like, be ready to actually embark on a stretched journey, but a very rewarding journey and a very insightful journey in terms of learnings. And that's why I'm genuinely excited about product partnerships. Why strategic partnerships matter for any organization? If you really think about it, at the heart of product partnerships, why will a company A and a company B, or a product A and a product B, want to come together in partnership? There are two main reasons. Number one is you are either wanting to expand your product value or address a gap in what you offer to your end users. And if something goes beyond your core competency, you actually look around and see who is actually well placed to satisfy that core competency. That's number one. Number two reason is if you want to expand your user base or distribution opportunity. No brainers. Like, we all want like maximum number of users to basically be using our product. And if a partnership allows us or opens that opportunity for us to reach out to more number of potential users, why not do it? Just to put things in perspective by giving an example, my own example, why are SaaS ecosystem or platform partnerships critical for Microsoft and my product teams? That is because SaaS partnerships allow us as a product to achieve inorganic growth, right? So we are basically here to, we actually satisfy both these bullet points that you see on this slide, right? We are actually adding more product value to our end users by offering them experiences that they don't get out of the box in Teams. And number two, we definitely want our partners to tap into our user base, and we definitely want us to actually reach out to potential customers in our partners' user base also, right? That is super critical for us to actually build or offer a unique, differentiated, and habitual sticky experience for the end user of Microsoft Teams, again, to fulfill the mission, as I said, to start people's day in Teams, living their day in Teams, and ending their day in Teams, right? A few examples, as you can see on the screen, these are a bunch of logos that me and my team have worked with or are currently working with. These are all partners, SaaS application developers. You will see them from India, from Middle East, basically from the Eastern Hemisphere of the world, some really familiar names out there who we have worked with or are working with to get them to build apps for our platform and publish it on our app store. Every single one of them is a strategic partner for me and my team, right? We work closely with them to ensure that they're building the best possible experience for end users of Microsoft Teams, right? Now, let me quickly go to sharing a few examples of well-known product partnerships that you might have actually come across. I'll breeze through this, but you most likely would already be aware of this, right? The first one is, I'm sorry, the screenshot is actually small, but the first one is actually a partnership that Uber and Spotify actually entered into a few years back, where while you are actually taking your Uber rides on the Uber app, you will actually be able to connect with your Spotify account, and you will be able to actually listen to music. Very similar to how in the Indian context, Ola actually partnered with Apple Music. So if any of you have actually taken Ola, sedan rides, there's something called Ola Play there. There's a tablet there. You can actually go and actually stream your Apple Music playlist via Ola Play. That's a strategic partnership that a cab aggregator and a music streaming service provider actually entered into, because it's a mutual fit to actually expand into each other's user base, right? Both of them get access to each other's user base, and the user base in the target audience is actually a fit, right? So that's one example. The second example, I'm pretty sure all of you would have actually seen this. Google Maps, you can actually head over there. You can actually hail, or you can actually have multiple taxi aggregators like Ola and Uber and Meru cabs, or even Auto, actually showing up there while you are checking out what's the distance between two places and the direction. You can literally go and book your Ola ride or an Uber ride right from within the Google app, and not only book but also pay, also track those rides, basically get the entire workflow done from within Google Maps. This is a strategic partnership example between Google and Uber, because the use cases are such a big fit, right? Why do I have to hop onto another app where I can actually bring in my experience within the core app that everybody will actually start with, to check out how to go from distance A to distance B? So that's a great example of a strategic partnership between two different products. Next example, again, the context is India. Flipkart, a few years back, actually started offering flights, hotels, and bus bookings on its platform. The SaaS partnership that powered its flights booking was actually Make My Trip. So in the Flipkart app, you can actually use Make My Trips experience within the Flipkart app to actually go and book your flight tickets. It's a way for Flipkart to actually increase the value proposition of its product, and basically for Make My Trip to actually get access to the Flipkart's active user base right now. So that's a great example of a product partnership. Similarly, on Google Pay today, you see a lot of these businesses and integrated app experiences of these businesses. Like, I just pick up one example. If you head to your Google Pay app today, you can actually see that Swiggy, Zomato, in this case, EatFit, you can actually have the entire catalog of these apps over here. You can basically browse, you can basically order for food, you can actually pay it seamlessly with your Google Pay app, right? Scenario fit, as well as getting access to the Google Pay's user base or the audience, is a prime motivator for somebody like an EatFit or a Swiggy to basically integrate with Google Pay. This is a strategic partnership. It's not open for everybody to integrate with Google Pay, right? It's only strategic handful of partners that Google Pay has opened this particular program to, and hence it's an example of a strategic partnership. PhonePe, another payments aggregation system, is actually ripe for this kind of strategic partnership. A similar experience that you see over here, you can actually have like ordering pizza, ordering your grocery, and so on and so forth. These are all examples of opening up my product and surfacing your experience inside it. Or let's enter into like an experience or a product partnership through which we can basically deliver more value to our end users. A very, very notable example of product partnership is the IBM and the Apple partnership, which happened, I think, back in 2017, 2018, where Apple and IBM's were arch rivals. If anybody actually recalls the Steve Jobs biography and the movie, you will actually see like Apple and IBM coming together is like, it was unheard of. But they actually came together for Apple to actually establish iOS as a preferred product platform to build enterprise apps. And IBM, because they had the skills of building enterprise line of business apps, both of them partnered together to ensure that iOS becomes, an iPhone and iPads become the devices and the operating systems of choice for enterprises to actually use their line of business apps. A very strategic partnerships, and about 100 plus apps have already been delivered through this partnership for enterprises across industries, across segments to actually use. So hopefully this would have actually given you some perspective of, when we talk about product partnerships, when we talk about SaaS partnerships, what does it really mean, right? Why do people come together? Why do companies and entities and products come together? These are some of the real world examples, right? Now, I'll take a pause here and switch gears. Now, let's get to the next section where we actually try and understand how product partnerships work, right? Here, what I'm actually trying to do is, because I'm familiar as an SME with how me and my team works on teams strategic SaaS partnerships, I'm actually taking examples from the Teams world and from the Teams platform world. So to put things into perspective, and it's also a very real example, right? Because we do this every day. Why should actually anyone think about building product partnerships? So in the context of a platform like Teams, and when we are actually working with other SaaS partners or SaaS application developers, there are primarily four motivators that a partner might actually consider or might be motivated to integrate with the Teams platform and build an app for our marketplace, right? Number one is point blank, grow their user base, because Teams is actually used by millions of users on a daily basis. Why not be present in a place or on a marketplace, on a store which is accessible to these millions of users, right? So for a partner, growing their user base for their SaaS offering by tapping into Teams user base is actually the key reason, one of the key reasons that they actually consider this partnership. Second is growing consumption and stickiness for their SaaS offering. Because people use Teams day in, day out throughout the day, being present in that particular system of engagement, being present in that product is basically increasing the likelihood of their app and their product to be used at multiple points of time in the day as well, right? So growing consumption, more usage, and growing frequent usage, which is stickiness for their SaaS offering, is the number two reason. Number third is growing revenue. Teams as an app store allows partners to actually sell subscriptions and make like facilitate transactions, make revenues through our marketplace. So that's an easy and a convenient channel for a partner to actually list their subscription offers on our store and then basically transact on Microsoft Currency and Microsoft Paper with the top enterprise customers of the world, right? That's reason number three. Reason number four is growing their market awareness and customer recall, because by partnering with Microsoft Teams, they get an opportunity to tap into the go-to-market motions that Microsoft can offer to them, and hence building awareness in the industry, building awareness for their brand, for their offering, so that they can get more customers and then more usage and build a better product. All of that cyclic loop will be able to happen if they are able to integrate on our platform and enter into a strategic partnership with Microsoft. Next comes the who. Who's the right candidate for entering into a partnership with Microsoft? This is where I'm actually showing you a lens that typically, one of the partners can actually follow to figure out, hey, who should I actually partner with, right? This is basically a rough framework, like a very high level framework of the principles or the steps that you can basically use to identify what kind of partnerships can be high value partnerships, strategic partnerships for you, right? So you can actually look at a variety of sources, right, from industry research, market makers, top players in that industry, players that or solutions or scenarios that your customers are actually requesting, scenarios that your compete products are actually integrating in their product. Combine all of this together, and then you can actually come up with, hey, these are the list of partners or the types of partners that I want to actually reach out to and explore whether they're interested in a strategic partnership or not. Like, this is something that my team does on a day-to-day basis. We actually study the SaaS industry, we study the SaaS market, we study what is happening, what is new in the market, where we see a fit. And then while executing the partnerships, we actually use a bunch of criteria to prioritize partners that you can see on the slide, and a bunch of criteria to basically drive that engagement strategy. I will double click on this later, but this is just to give you a view of both partners, or every partner who's looking to do a product partnership will have an equivalent of this sort of a criteria or a framework at mind to basically define who should I partner with, right? And also define upfront what is success looking like. Like, what is success like? Why am I actually entering into this partnership? At the end of the funnel, what do I need? Do I need a quality product? Do I need retention? Do I need stickiness? Do I need actually the partnership to be ready for a go-to-market moment or a marketing moment which is coming up? Do I need achievement of a very specific set of business goals that we have jointly agreed on? Do I need customer adoption? Do I need references to be created so that other partnership opportunities can open up for me in future as well? Or do I actually care about usage, right? It can be a combination of these, it can be all of these, right? But such a framework is super useful for you to keep in handy. The third is now coming to how do we execute a product partnership. So now you have decided what's in it for you. Why do you want to do the product partnership? Now you have decided how do you figure out which who is a good candidate to be a product partnership candidate for you. Now you come to how do you execute the product partnership. So this is a view of a framework that my team follows, wherein we actually have a very well-defined process that we actually follow right from identification all the way to pitching the partnership and its value to a prospective partner, engaging with them to secure a commit, envisioning the experience, designing the experience, because it's all about building a great end user experience on Teams platform, helping them develop, helping them ship that app on the Teams marketplace. So basically getting them into our distribution channel. What is a marketplace? Marketplace is just a distribution channel. Getting that shipped, getting it launched, and then finally driving success for that particular partnership or that particular application in this case in the market. Success should basically be driven for both sides and both parties. And hence, this is a well-defined framework that me and my team actually follows pretty much on a daily basis. Each partner that we actually work with will be in different stages of this funnel, but this is how we actually ensure that there is a method to the madness, right? So that is how a typical product partnership will be executed. There'll be variations of this depending on which industry you are in or what type of partnership is are you getting into. And finally, how do we measure success of partnerships? Because ultimately the idea is that whatever business goals you started with to enter into the partnership, are those goals being met or not? Are you deriving value out of the partnership? It starts at building, but then it gets into launch. Launch is just getting started. Like launch is basically just the beginning of the entire cycle. After launch, you have to basically ensure you get the traction, because that is where you actually the rubber hits the road, wherein you are actually seeing whether the market is getting aware, whether there is readiness for a scale adoption or a scale usage of that product, or a scale realization of the value of that product. That's when you get into like the scale stage. And finally, after the scale stage, you will actually start seeing results coming out of that partnership, whether it was revenue, whether it was usage, whether it was stickiness, whether it was a top of mind recall. All of these things will basically start happening when this entire loop basically reaches the scale and the succeed stage. After succeed, the best practices of any successful partnership says, don't stop. You should always, once you are starting to meet your business goals, you should always measure, learn from the feedback, and then continue to build and invest further into the partnership. So get back to the build stage. This is exactly what we do with our partners also. Once you ship version 1, you've gone through this loop. Let's build a version 2, let's build a version 3, and continue deriving more and more value and ROI from the partnership, right? So with that, I will actually now move to the best practices section. This is where I think I'll spend like some time to actually, from my own learnings, share with you the top 3 categories or top 3 buckets that I definitely want any one of you who's considering the partnerships opportunity or a partnerships role should keep in mind to ensure you get the most out of the product partnerships. Like some of these might be very obvious, but I'll still anyways highlight them. For partnerships, key thing is to actually choose very, very carefully who you want to partner with, and slowly. Don't rush into choosing your partner. You can't just go and choose any partner or say yes to anybody who approaches you for a partnership. You have got to be selective. You have every right to be selective, and it is in your interest to actually be selective, right? You should always define success as well as exit criteria upfront. Success criteria, everybody understands, like this is what I want to get out of it. Exit criteria is also equally important, and transparently laying that out on the table is also important, because you want to actually define upfront when is it when you will actually call it quits. When is it that you and your partner will actually say, hey, you know what, this is not working out, let's actually part ways, right? That is super important to define upfront. It brings a lot of trust in the entire partnership. Partnerships is all about building relationships and trust, right? Number 2, what should be your engagement style, which is tuned for the partnerships mindset? One thing which I've learned is, especially in product partnerships, you should behave no differently than a feature crew, which is actually building products within the organization. Like you have PMs, you have UX, you have devs, you have test. Behave no different than that. It's the same engagement model. It's just cross organization. It's just not within your organization, it's actually across your organization, right? You still need advocates, you still need to actually learn to embrace chaos. The chaos will actually be much more because there are two different organizations that are actually involved here. There will be a lot more constraints. Things, if they were only within your organization, you can actually navigate around it. Things which are actually outside your organization, you have far less control over them. And so always keep pushing, always keep hustling. That's what will basically make the partnership successful. Be ready for ebbs and flows. Product partnerships are always tumultuous. They never proceed at a uniform pace. You will never have things go according to plan. So be ready for things to go out of hand, things to fall down. Bias for action and sense for urgency is the only two things that will actually save you and help you deliver on the goals coming out of the engagement time, right? Don't be a single point of failure, over communicate. All of these are like very, very obvious thing, but I'm just capturing it out so that you know what is the mindset that is actually required for this role, right? Document everything, sign NDAs. It's between two companies. Ensure that you protect your rights, your IP. Everything that you decide, everything that you commit to should actually be put on paper. And that actually builds a shared understanding between the two organizations, right? Sell the value, sell the opportunity, sell your product capabilities at all points of time. And ask. Super critical to ask for more value from your partner, ask for more opportunity, ask for more product capabilities from your partners, right? This is you pushing the needle on yourself and on the partnership. The third one is win together. Believe in winning together, have that empathy for your partner. Like there are times when your partner might actually be going through a difficult time. It's okay. And if you have that empathy, you will actually sustain that and grow through it together. Learn from things which possibly are not going right. And that's where growth mindset comes into picture. Always be ready to kind of try out a different approach. Success is owned by both parties. No one party can feel stretched into giving it all. Don't ship and forget. Like shipping and calling it that, hey, the partnership is over is actually the biggest mistake that you can do. That's where the circle and the life cycle comes into picture. Shipping is only the beginning. Getting that partnerships result out to the market is only the beginning. The true value will start coming when you start basically then deriving value or deriving ROI out of it and continue to invest in that partnership by measuring, learning, retrospecting, planning for the next iteration of the partnership, and then actually working on iterating the partnership, right? Very quickly covering the partnerships role and how is it different from a typical feature PM or a internal facing product PM role, right? A partnerships role is actually essentially a go-to-market PM role, right? A go-to-market PM role, the way it is different is you will always be working on taking the product out to the market. You'll always be consulting or guiding on product features instead of actually building product features. Most of your time will actually be spent on external stakeholders. Most of the time will actually be spent on driving product, customer, and business success, right? You will end up collaborating more with customers and partners and not so much with your internal stakeholders to tweak your product here and there. However, you will still be a very important point of channeling feedback to improve the product. The key things that will make you successful in a partnerships PM role are definitely product mindset, scenario thinking, partnerships mindset, customer presence, a real amount of technical depth and attitude, growth mindset, and objection handling and stakeholder engagements, right? These are super, super critical because you are representing your organization. You are always on the front line. Sorry, was that?
Oh, yeah, Rashid, that was me. I wanted to drop in with a reminder. We've got a couple of minutes left. We do have a hard stop. At the same time, we've also got one question on chat. So I'm going to let you complete. And then if time permits, we'll take it.
Yes, so this is the last slide. As I said, as I promised, if any of you have a partnerships opportunity that comes up in your career, I wanted to end this by actually giving you my perspective. Why should you consider at least doing one partnerships PM role in your career? It's a different role. It comes far in between, but if you get it, why should you actually grab it by the neck? Is because every day you get to hear a different hat. Every day you basically work with new partners, new conditions, new scenarios, which actually never lets you get bored. Number two, you get to practice the art of influencing without authority. We all say, hey, PMs get to influence without authority. That's a core skill that we should actually build. This is where the rubber hits the road. You get to practice influencing without authority every single day, because you are literally influencing a different organization, right? Who's not reporting to you, who's not aligned with you on all things. Sometimes you might even be competing with them on certain areas of the product or the business. How do you influence them without authority? The third one is you get the opportunity to bring real market feedback to improve your product. You are the eyes and ears because you're working with partners. In my case, I work with developers. I get so much of feedback on what is the gap that they see in Teams platform. That is something that I proudly channel to my engineering team and make sure that they are working on it to improve the product. You get to meet cool cross-company people, like from the best companies, the best partners, the best leading folks in the industry, right from CXOs to developers to architects, like across the board. You build great friendships and a richer network. And lastly, but not the least, you witness how real business happens on a large canvas. You're not sitting inside and tinkering a small part of your product. You are actually not focusing on one among hundreds of features that go in your product. You are literally representing your product, and you are actually scripting business success for your company and in the process for the partner as well. So with that, I will basically hope that this was a useful interaction. You get a sense of what product partnerships mean, especially in the context of SaaS. I tried examples of what I do and my team do. My team does in the Microsoft Teams engineering world to actually give you a flavor of what partnerships as a role looks like for PMs. And like this is something which is basically a culmination of why should you actually give it a try. It's enriching. It's very eye-opening. If you ever get a chance, like I'm sure that you will actually enjoy it. I will open it up for questions now.
Great stuff, Rishwat. Great presentation as well. Thank you so much for your time and for taking us through everything there. We have one highlight question for today, and that's from Sudhir Bandaru, the CEO of Insightly Analytics. And his question is very specific. He's asking, are there any product considerations that we need to consider early on during the build out and the application architecture, like from the API perspective?
Yeah.
And I'm asking this question from a stage of if we want to enter into the partnership mode at a later stage of that company. So that's the question.
Absolutely. So great question, Suri. Thank you so much for actually asking that. I face that on a daily basis while working with partners, because there are times when we get stuck where something cannot be integrated, or an app experience or the desired experience cannot be built because of an architectural limitation on the platform. And it's very taxing. It's very costly to actually get around that and work around that just for integrating your product in a different system or a different environment. So great question. I definitely think as a SaaS product builder, if it helps, it pays to actually plan whether there is a possibility of partnership later. Right? Do you see yourself actually partnering with other, products out there? It can be a container, it can be a marketplace. In our case, like Teams is a marketplace. We want other partners to integrate and sit inside our experience. That's not just what product partnerships are all about, right? Product partnership can be, you can do, let's say, a data level integration with another product or another popular industry tool or industry product. If you have to do that, you definitely need to have architectural considerations. Build on open standards, build on standards which are industry known or industry recognized. Have APIs available right from very beginning. I see a ton of partners who actually have built great product, but they haven't exposed APIs. They have actually built monolith products, right? That is an absolute deal breaker or a blocker for you to integrate with others, because everybody who's integrating is actually looking to kind of get the get a very plug and play sort of an architecture, or plug and play sort of a model from the people or from the products that they want to integrate with, right? So having open APIs, well documented APIs, updated APIs, also having APIs after 5 features, the API will follow it. Instead of that, when you ship a feature, make sure that the API is also updated. Make sure that you are always open, so that the moment you actually see a partnerships opportunity open up, sometimes it actually pays to literally rush and be the first one and have that first mover advantage. A lot of partners on the Teams marketplace have actually reaped the first mover advantage because they actually integrated Teams like literally on day one when our platform started 4 years back. Right? They are now the most successful apps on our platform, right? Because it was uncrowded as a space. Now, if that time, if they actually have architectural limitations, that is actually going to set them back. So, awesome question. Definitely think about whether there is a partnership opportunity that can come in future. And if you think there is, investing in the product, even if that slows down your velocity and your feature ships by say a 5% or 10%, might actually be a good one to be prepared, especially if you want to grow via partnerships at a later point in time. I hope that
Great.
Helped, Raghav.
For sure, Vishruth. I'm very certain that would have helped. And on the other hand, we've also given everybody that's in attendance today your Twitter handles and our Twitter handles as well, so we can definitely keep the conversation going. And that's so they're saying yes, Vishruth. Thank you so much for that response. So with that, that's our time for today. We've been talking with Vishruth, head of partnerships and SaaS partnerships here at Microsoft Teams. Thank you so much for your time. Look forward to meeting the rest of you in the next session.